The first step in being a successful sewer is to thread your machine properly so that way it operates properly. So here's the spool pin. This one is horizontal. So how you also will have a spool holder that will slide onto the spool pin. So first you need to remove the spool holder if it's on there. Then you're going to place your spool thread on the spool pin and then place that cap or the spool holder. So it's going to leave the spool of thread or prevent it from flying off of the spool pin. Oh, and your thread is going to come out from underneath the spool when you have this on. So if this is flipped the reverse, it can cause the machine or the threads to get tangled. So it should be underneath. So you're going to take your thread and drag it over to this first thread guide. There is a little arrow here to help remind you where it goes. And then bring your thread down in front of the machine. You're going to drag it down through the machine and you're going to follow this imprinted arrow around to the left and back up. Here's the thread take-up lever. Sometimes it might be hidden, so if you don't see your thread take-up lever at the top of your machine, you need to take your hand wheel, moving it towards your body until you see the thread take-up lever. Then you're gonna lasso around it, so from right to left, following this little arrow as a reminder, going back and forwards. And what you should see is the thread going through the hole in the take-up lever. Then you're going to bring your thread down in front of the machine again. And now we are closer to the needle. There's another little thread guide, this little metal clip on the side here. You're going to take your thread and bring it around through the back side. And then you're going to bring your thread from right to left, front to back, grabbing the end of the thread as close as you can. You're going to place this through the eye of the needle. And what I like to do is I usually, once I get it placed in the eye of the needle, I use my finger very gently, go behind the needle and move the thread to the left so that I can grab more slack from the thread to drag it over to the left of the machine. The next step is to get your bobbin set up. So with this one, this is a drop-in bobbin. So there is a little grooved black, almost like a button. You actually just kind of push down and push to the right, and that will pop open this bobbin cover. Remove the bobbin cover, place it over to the side, and then you need to set up your bobbin. So you can place it onto the countertop and then pull on the thread, and it should be moving counterclockwise. In this instance, it's actually moving clockwise, which is like a clock. So we want to physically flip it over so that way it's moving counterclockwise. Once we have it moving counterclockwise, we want to drop this or place this down into the bobbin compartment. Place that in, and then we have this thread. I'm going to pull down on the thread, and there's a little slit or opening right here. You're going to take your thread and pull it towards your body so it goes through that little opening, and drag the thread to the left. Then you're going to take the thread that's coming from the needle with your left hand, hold on to that, and then using your right hand, you're going to move the hand wheel down into the machine one time. You're going to go down and then go back up. As you're doing this, you're going to pull with your left hand on the thread that's coming out from the needle. And as I do that, you can see that it's bringing up the thread that was from underneath the machine, or the bobbin thread. So I'm going to grab a pair of closed shears, or you could use your finger. Stick that in between the loop and drag that thread out from the bottom of the machine to the top of the machine, so you have both threads. What I like to do also at this point in time, actually, you can then put your bobbin cover back on. And then I like to sew with the threads under the presser foot. It just helps so that way they are out of the way when you're sewing. So there should be a slit in the bottom of the presser foot. So you're going to grab your threads and then place them underneath that presser foot so they are out of the way and to the left of the machine. And you're ready to sew.